Oh, there it is. Emily Talley. Casa. Chelsea. Come on, Patrick. Good afternoon. The court's going to take up the next case, CV2104144. This is in the interest of Lily Gilbert and Eliza Gilbert, children. The case is set for a status hearing today. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is to engage Permanency Manager Diane Hackney, Supervisor Tracy Perry, and Brown County Assistant Attorney Terry Moore. The mother of the children is Alexis Heath, and she is participating in the hearing with her attorney, Chelsea Timmons. The father of the children is David Gilbert, who has been personally served with citation notice of suit. He is not present. Patrick Howard is the attorney for Mr. Gilbert, and Mr. Howard is not currently present in the courtroom. Jennifer Brodin is the attorney ad litem for the child, and I saw Miss Brodin on here earlier. Just a second. She's not in the breakout room. I don't see Miss Brodin currently participating in the hearing at this point. The CASA guardian ad litem representatives for the child are Michelle Wells and Emily Talley, and they are both participating in the hearing today. The child is excused from participating in the hearing. I'm going to ask Ms. Talley, Ms. Wells, and Ms. Hackney, and Ms. Heath, if each of you can raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm me and testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to note for the record that Patrick Howard is now joining our hearing. If y'all stand by for just a second. All right, thank you. All right, let's see, Ms. Moore, if you're ready.
Yes, Judge, and I've been in communication, just so you know, I've been in, I'm sorry, been in communication with Miss Broughton, and she's having internet problems and wanted me to call her so I could put her on speaker. So if I could have a moment to do that. She said she'd been sitting in the waiting room and now suddenly there's no internet. So if
absolutely, yeah, go ahead and call her, and if I see her pop up in my waiting room, I'll let her in a second. She may be coming in now. Let me see.
Said she thinks she's back in the waiting room.
Oh, I just clicked on her to come in, and it shows she's joining her, but it's going very slow, so you might go ahead and call her.
Okay, I'm going to put you on speaker anyway, just in case your internet clicks out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I've got her. Her internet's on and off apparently. So.
Okay, Miss Brodin, are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir, I am. I apologize for the inconvenience.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you were able to participate. Thank you very much. All right, let's see. And Mr. Howard, am I mistaken? Mr. Gilbert's there with you now, right?
Mr. Gilbert is with me, and also, just for the record, his mom, who I don't think will testify, Rhonda Gilbert, she's also here. She's in the back.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Mr. Gilbert, I don't think you were here earlier when I swore everybody else in. Could you raise your right hand, please? You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Thank you. All right, let's see, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. I'll call Ms. Hackney.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Ms. Hackney, what is your connection to this case, to the girls, Lily and Eliza?
I'm the permanency case manager for the case.
All right. And Lily and Eliza are placed where?
They are placed in Brownwood in a kinship home with one of the special ed teachers for Lily.
Okay. All right. And so this individual is not only one of Lily's teachers, but she's a family member?
No, I'm sorry, fictive kin.
Fictive kin. Okay. I got it now. Because the on page 1 of the report, it says kinship. So I was a little bit confused. So it's actually fictive kin.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And how is that placement going?
It is going very well.
Okay. Now, you said it was Lily who has the special education needs?
Both girls do, actually.
Both girls. Okay. And what kind of needs are they having, or do they have?
They both have autism and speech delays.
All right. And the placement with the teacher is appropriate in meeting their educational needs as well as their developmental needs?
Yes, it is. Okay.
Any concerns or regarding the placement itself?
No.
Okay. Now, there is a family plan in place, and it's my understanding that mom has just started working the services. Is that correct?
Yes, both parents have signed their plans and started working services.
Okay. And now, is that like a recent development? I mean, were they not complying or involved at first, or because it looks like the department got TMC back on April the 26th.
No, they both started pretty quickly as soon as we've got their plans in place.
Okay. Oh, all right. I see Ms. Brodin's gotten back on, so I'm going to turn my phone.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Fingers crossed. All right. So what kind of services are the parents working at this point?
At this point, the dad is, he has got his substance abuse assessment scheduled for tomorrow.
Okay.
He completed a psychological assessment. He has started therapy. He has started parenting classes. And then he has taken 4 drug screens.
Okay. And so it's my understanding Dad had not been allowed to visit until he passed several drug screens. Is that correct?
Correct. He had 1 visit, and then the next visit he had to miss. And after that, he had a presumed positive for a negative dilute. Okay. And at this point, he's had 4. The first and third were negative, and the second and fourth were presumed positive for negative dilute.
All right. Okay. So he needs to have how many in a row clean ones, or well, I'll just call clean ones, before he's allowed to do some visitation?
3.
Okay. All right. And he's aware of that?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And what about mom? Is she involved in visitation?
She is having visitation weekly for 1 hour at the To Engage office. She has obtained housing. She is still looking for a job. Her substance abuse assessment is also scheduled for tomorrow.
Okay.
She did complete a psychological assessment and has started parenting classes and therapy.
Okay. So this is kind of one of those situations where we need a little bit of time to see how the parents are going to do on working their services. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And so today what the department is asking for is to continue as temporary managing conservator of the 2 children, that their placement be continued and approved, that the family plans of service be made in order of the court, and that there be another hearing in 4 months. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else that you feel like the judge needs to know, either about the girls or about the, excuse me, or about the parents? to make decisions in today's hearing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Ms. Timmons, any questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. How long has mom, Miss Heath, been doing visits with the girls?
She has been doing visits with the girls for, well, since we got TMC, so for a month and a half.
Okay. Would that have been since April? So maybe a little 2 months or a little over 2 months or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
When do you anticipate those visits being able to be increased in any way, either length or duration or frequency?
I will be scheduling a staffing with my supervisor probably at the end of this month.
Okay. All of those visits, have they been appropriate?
Yes, they have.
Okay. And the girls seem to enjoy spending time with their mother?
Yes, they do.
You haven't had any sort of reported bad behaviors afterwards or negative effects on the children, anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Very good. I'll pass the witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Any questions?
A couple. Ms. Hackney, regarding the service plans, one of the concerns at this case was, at the beginning of this case, was the relationship between the mom and the father. Is that right?
I believe it was the relationship between the father and the girlfriend.
Okay. Well, what I mean by this is the mom and the father in this case had not lived in the same town, and just co-parenting was something we want to see out of them.
Correct.
Okay. And it's my understanding that they're actually taking the parenting classes together. Is that true?
Yes, that is what I was told.
So what I'm getting at is they seem to be working pretty well together at this point, and they should get credit for that.
Yes, at this point, they seem to be working together.
Okay. So let's talk about these drug tests real briefly. So the dad has taken 4 drug tests to engage, right?
Yes.
And he has tested negative on every single one of those 4 drug tests, correct?
2 of them were negative dilutes.
Okay. And negative dilute basically means it's a drug test that tested for drugs and had no drugs in it, but because the had too much water or something in it that it seemed like it could have been tampered with. That's what a negative dilute is.
Yes, sir.
Positive dilute is the same test, except it shows the presence of drugs, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you call the father and ask him to do a drug test, does he go and take it that same day?
Yes, he does.
And he's working all his other services.
Yes, he is.
And you're aware where the father's working as far as at the hemp farm and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he's not having visits because it's a 2-engage policy, I guess a local policy, where if somebody fails a drug test or test negative dilute, they can't have visits till they pass 3 clean drug tests without dilutes or anything like that.
Yes.
Okay. Has the father asked y'all for a hair follicle test?
He had a hair follicle test with CPS prior to us getting the case, and it has not been over 90 days.
Okay. The hair follicle test is CPS. Did it test clean?
Yes, it did.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, any questions?
No, I didn't know if Miss Brodin have any.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over Ms. Brodin. I was looking at the wrong place in my notes. Ms. Brodin, I apologize. Thank you. Go ahead.
Ms. Hackney, are you aware that the placement is sure and she's getting ready to go back to work soon?
Yes, we're working on daycare to help her with that.
Okay. On the to help with the cost, you mean?
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second.
The subsidy to daycare?
I believe the question to you was whether or not on the daycare y'all are trying to get for the caregiver, whether there's some types of subsidy or help, financial help for that.
Okay. They have a completed home study so that they could receive kinship funds to help them. And in addition to that, we've turned in a daycare application for daycare assistance also.
Okay, I don't have any other questions, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, let me go back to Ms. Moore now. All right, Ms. Moore, any other questions?
No, Your Honor. I will just ask the court to take judicial notice of the court file.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Hackney or any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Timmons, do you have other witness you want to call?
I'll call my client briefly, Ms. Heath.
All right, thank you. Ms. Heath, you were sworn in, you remain under oath. Thank you. Go ahead.
Ms. Heath, have you been doing everything that you've been asked to accomplish? Yes. I'm sorry, can you say that again? Thank you.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And I understand that you've had several job interviews here recently.
Yes.
Okay. And so you anticipate to gain employment here pretty quickly?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted the judge to know about your progress?
Yeah.
Oh, Alexis, you're breaking up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Alexis, you broke
doing
up.
Everything that, yeah. My internet is working.
Ms. Heath, I'm sorry, but your internet connection is breaking up pretty badly. We're having a very difficult time understanding what you're saying. You may want to repeat that.
There's nothing more. I mean, I'm doing everything that's asked of me.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Timmons, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Moore, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Howard?
Not of this witness, no.
Okay. Let's see, Ms. Brodin.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's see, Ms. Timmons, did you have other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Howard?
I'll call Mr. Gilbert.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
You're the father, Mr. Gilbert?
Yes, sir.
And one thing that I think I asked you to do was to, work on a relationship with the mom in this case so y'all could co-parent.
Yes.
Is that something you've been working on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Gilbert, you understand why you're not seeing your girls right now?
Yes.
Okay. Are you ingesting marijuana or any other drug?
No.
Okay. When you take these drug tests, let's talk about them. When are you asked to take them?
Morning.
Okay. And do you get to them in the morning, or what time do you get to actually the drug testing place?
I get to them after work.
Is that because you have to work and you get off early and you go?
Yes.
You work outside?
Yes.
You drink a lot of water?
Yes.
Okay. You think that's why your tests are coming up dilute negative?
Absolutely.
Okay. You passed the hair follicle already for the department, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're asking the judge to let you take a hair follicle to prove what you're saying and really give a better explanation for why these tests are coming up dilute negative.
Yes.
And you're asking the judge to make you prepay that or go take it and have to reimburse those expenses if you fail it.
That's fine.
Okay. But you're also asking the judge that if that hair follicle test comes back negative, to reinstate your visits with your girls.
Yes.
Okay. And just to remind the judge very briefly, these girls were in your care. You were providing for them, and you're the one who identified this good placement.
Yes.
Okay. So you've been very involved in their lives.
I think so.
Okay. But you want to see, and it really hurts you not being able to see your girls.
Right.
And you think you're doing everything you can that the judge is asking you to do. Is that right?
Yes.
Even though, because of your job, you're surrounded by marijuana, right?
Well, it's cannabis.
Right. Well, cannabis. I mean, that's not a secret in this case where you work, right?
Yeah, well, it's different.
Right. But what I'm saying is you're surrounded by people who maybe have different views on the usage and legality of marijuana than other people.
Yes.
Okay. And even in that environment, you're abstaining and you're not doing that because that prevents you from seeing your kids.
Yes.
Okay. And because you don't do that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Okay. Judge, I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Moore?
No questions.
Ms. Timmons
No, Your Honor.
and Ms. Brodin?
No questions, Judge.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Howard?
No, thank you.
Or witnesses, I mean.
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Broughton, did you have any witness you want to call?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
All right. See, Ms. Wells, anything you want to add to y'all's report about the case? I'm sorry, I think you may be muted, Ms. Wells. Or Ms. Talley. I'm sorry. You wanted Ms. Talley. Thank you.
I will, Your Honor. The only thing I would like to add, as it's already been discussed, Ms. Heath has been doing everything that she has been asked, and we would like to see her visits be increased so she can spend more time with her girls. And then we would also like to see that hair follicle test happen for Mr. Gilbert so those visits can start for him.
All right, thank you very much. See, Ms. Hackney, I'll ask you, I was trying to find where I saw it, but in my notes, there was an indication that there's some pending criminal charges involving the father, but I'm not seeing where I saw that in the file. Are you familiar with those charges?
Yes, sir. He does have pending criminal charges for the domestic violence incident with his ex-girlfriend.
Okay, well, I thought there was also an injury to a child or child endangerment charge. Is that
yes, it was part of that same incident, yes.
All right. Is there some kind of bond restriction on that precludes him from having contact with either of these children?
No, there's not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And when was the hair follicle test done? Do you know? I know it was before the case.
I believe it was in April.
Okay. So it's been almost 4 months now, or 3 months. Okay. Thank you. All right. Anything else from anyone today? Was there any objection to the service plans that were filed?
No objections.
Okay, thank you. All right, the court is going to approve the service plans, find them to be reasonable and appropriate. I'm going to make them orders of the court. The department is ordered to provide the services outlined in the plans, and the parents are ordered to participate in those services. I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue the children in their current placement. At this time, I would encourage the department to work diligently with the mother about increasing her visitation. It seems like she's been making progress on the visits, and I think y'all need to be at the point where you increase those. I'll order the department to arrange for a hair follicle test for Mr. Heath, for Mr. Gilbert, with the provision that if he tests positive on that test, he has to pay the cost of the test. If he is negative and there's no other reason not to do so, I'd direct the department to set up some visitation for him with the children as well. The next hearing in the case right now is a initial permanency hearing that's set on October 28, 2021 at 10:30. There's a permanency hearing and pretrial set on February 24, 2022 at 9. A trial, if needed, is set for April 28, 2022 at 2 p.m. And the dismissal date in the case is May 2nd, 2022. I'm required to notify any parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your children may be subject to restriction or even termination, and your progress under any court orders or the plans of service developed in the case will be reviewed at future hearings in this case. If it sounds, from what I understood, that both of you are making progress on your service plans, I encourage you both to continue to work on those. The goal of this type of case is if children are removed from a parent, to have them return to a parent at some point. So that's what we'd like to see happen. And I encourage both of you to work towards that goal as you have been, it sounds like. So